Let me close all this. Yeah. ఇప్పుడు ఏ జనరేషన్ అనేది క్విక్ గా చెప్తాను. సో ఫస్ట్ టైం ఈ జనరేషన్ Yeah, let's continue. Sorry, there is a and file handling. This is what we are doing yesterday. So we had started here and then we just discussed like how to create file, all that in the yesterday's session. Uh, Reading a file. This is what we are talking yesterday. What is that? How to read files. That is what we are doing above. And we started with read method. And we have to discuss about read of n and then read line. And there are three different methods. We had discussed that as well. And we were talking about that. We just discussed about how to read a file with a small example you can see here. So with abc.txt, read of n is the next step we should discuss. If you look, even if you see the PPT here, so that is one more thing. Sometimes this might be needed. Okay, so let me just quickly discuss that. So what is that read of n here? If you want to read some sequence of characters, first n sequence of characters, then we apply this read of n. Let's do one thing. Let's apply a small program here itself for that. So what we do is we are doing this one, right? So we will what we do is copy this. This is yesterday's thing. Whatever we are doing here, I am doing this. In this process, we also come to know something else as well, something very useful. So I say that read of 10. When I say read of 10, it should read first 10 characters in the file. So that is what read of n is. Let's print it and say something like data 2. And then what shall we say? Print. Let me just run it, friends. Data 2 here. But definitely this is not going to give us the result. Why it doesn't gives the result is because once we apply a read and once we try to print it, then automatically file pointer is moved to the end of the file. So when you apply read operation again, so you don't get anything probably. Let's run this now. So we get that idea. So here you are getting, this is the output from the previous one till here. When I say read of 10, it should print first 10 characters, something like, so then the question is why we are not getting output for this. Simple, we need to reset our file pointer. How to reset the file pointer? Simply, so if you want to again apply a read, file pointer should be set to the beginning of the file. So this is the idea. Let me just show you. Or otherwise, I'll do one thing. First, let me reset and try to get the output. Then we will apply. I'll explain that what happening exactly. This is something useful to know as well. Okay. File var dot. You have to use a seek method. Set it to 0 using seek. So when you apply this, what happens is when you apply seek of 0, again your file pointer is set to the beginning of the file. When you say seek of 0, let me add this here. Okay. Next after that, next. Now you try to apply read of 10 and then they do this and all these operations. This time probably you should get the output. So right click, run this. You can see this. Are you able to see this now? You get this? We are able to read first 10 characters. After again, I reset the file pointer. This is an interesting information. And this is something doing dynamic read again. So what is happening exactly inside? When you do first read operation, automatically that whole file is read, and that is assigned to the data. When you apply this read operation, when you issue read operation for the first time, the file is opened and read operation is completed, and finally the file pointer is moved to the end of the file. Now what is that? If you want to do issue another read operation, then the file pointer again has to be reset. So that's what we are doing here. This seek will seek of 0 set the file pointer to the beginning of the file again. So this is what happening here. Let us do one thing. Let's open a paint and let me show you what exactly is happening inside that. Okay. So let me open a paint. Yeah, let's see this now. For the first time, you can see here. This is your file operation sets. Just a minute. Okay. So this is the file. Now, what is happening is initially your this is your file abc.txt, abc.txt. Initially, what is happening is file pointer is pointing to the beginning of file. This is your file pointer, and the cursor, right? We call something called cursor. It's will be at the beginning of file. Okay, something like you are saying that this is test, right? Something like that, and again this is test, something like this, test two or something. Okay, assume that this is something like that, and you should for the first time a read operation. Suppose you applied some first issued a read operation, then automatically this whole file is read, and this file pointer, whatever that is there, that is moved to the end of the file, friends. Here it is moved to the end of file. It will be waiting at the end of file now. Now again, what I am doing, I am trying to perform one more read operation. So that is a read of n. Not only read of n, any other read operation. If I want to perform one more read, so what is the point is, we should understand one thing. Previously, we did a read issue, read operation. We should remember that the file pointer initially, which was in the beginning, will be moved to the end of file. Now, if you apply one more read, this file pointer, whatever that is there, we have here. So this one, so this has to be again reset to the beginning of file. That is important. So that is where we need to apply. What is that? We need to take the help of method, seek method. What seek does is seek will again point the move the cursor to the beginning of file. When you say seek of 0, you can see here means you are asking to position the cursor to the 0th index of the file. So this is what happened, friends. That's why you can see here when I reset for the first time. Before I reset, we didn't get any output for this second operation. But when I reset, you can see that there is an output coming from the second operation. That is a read of n. So that is the quick idea, friends. So now I want to perform one more operation. What is that? Just a minute, friends. I want to perform one more operation. That is, you can see here. These two, this operation, read line. What read line returns? Read line reads characters from the starting from the current reading position up to a new line character. Okay. Simply speaking, this just reads one line of text. So in the program, but here again I did another read operation so that your file pointer now, it is pointing to the 10th character somewhere till this. Now where your cursor is, it is at this position at a T or otherwise at least at S position, at the index of S, and reading is done till this is the first 10 characters. Now, what is that I want to do? If I want to apply another read operation, again, I should reset the file. So what is that? Copy this and put it here. Okay, and then you can take this. Now apply file var of read line. Just directly apply read line. Except the last operation, that is this one, friends. Except this read lines, all other all other methods return string type of value. So we can also quickly check on that, what values each operation is returning. Maybe if you want to quickly check on that. Okay. So while printing, you can also check what is the type that is written by these methods, these read methods. That also gives you a clear idea. So here, this will be returning what is that. So you can just quickly check type here. Okay. And then similarly, now you can print it again. This one, you can do one thing, copy this, paste it here, and simply change this to data 3. And then this print read line just reads one line of data from a file, one line. How many ever lines might be, it will read the one line at a time. Now, right click, run this. Now you can see, this is, you can see in all three cases, it is string. In the second case also it is string. And in the third case, this is reading just a line. If you want, you can add a print as well. So you can add data from read line, all that. Okay. And finally, one more, read lines. So when you say read lines, again, as we applied relay, we showed one more read operation. Again, resetting file pointer is important. If you want to call another read method, if you want to apply reads sequentially, one by one, then resetting file pointer every time is important. So that is something we have to keep in mind, friends. That is point to remember. Okay. So again, I reset my pointer. Just copy this. I don't want to waste much time. So just call read lines. This reads the whole file. But this time read lines reads, you can see here, it reads whole file and returns a list object. See this. What it returns, friends? It returns a list object. So here what do you do? So let's run this now. Just take this as a F4, F4. Just change this to variable name. Just please change a little of this variable name and right click, run this. And you can see here, it is reading. Read lines is reading the whole file in the form of lines. Of course, you can remove this new line, not a problem. So these new lines are by default are appended, not an issue. While executing the code, while iterating, you can trim this new line, not issue. Applying that slicing scenario, because this is something continuously added for all lines. So we can do that a simple operation for removing this new line at the end of string. Got it right, friends? So that's all. So what do you do, right, friend? You can just do one thing. You can just apply a slicing and then just remove this -1 character, because this is the in the index, which in which index the index of this is -1 from the right side. Without, if you don't want to count and do anything, just apply remove -1 from the this one. That would be helpful. So that's all, friends. So this is idea about what is it, friends? How to apply all different read methods. Now let's move to the next scenario. So you can see there are examples even in our PPT as well. So this is issuing read operation. Next one, this is about working on read line. Next thing, already we have covered these scenarios. So, and after that, so this is also fine. We did that. So reading all lines, this is completed. And then next after that, use for loop to read a file. So this is one more scenario. Suppose let us do one thing. Let me just show you how to apply a for loop to read a file. Just let's try that. Suppose one thing, why I try to check type of each of this data, because so that you understand what operation you should apply. So in previous all three read cases except read lines, in all three cases it is returning string. If you iterate string, you get character by character, unless you made some arrangement to print it in line by line. Okay, so it's up to us. So, but how to apply a looping here? Simple. This is a list of lines here. So if you want to print line by line, what is the easiest thing? Simply you can do one thing. You apply iterator for some line in data 4. Okay, colon. You can just print line. So this is how you can. Already we are familiar with looping, so it won't be a difficult thing for us. Now you can see we got line by line. Okay, so next after that is next one. So let's see this. This is again directly applied on. This applied on. Okay, even here we don't apply any read here. Directly we are iterating the pointer. Let's try this scenario as well. Suppose do one thing. In this example, we are getting some data here, right? Not even data. This one. In the beginning itself, you can do one thing. So for data in file var colon, this is what happening here, and then in data, and finally that's all friends. Generally that is what happens with the for directly reading from the file pointer. You can see here that is what happening here, and I didn't close it again. I think as we know, even if you don't close, nothing happens. We can again perform or issue one more read operation. Only thing is, for that, what is that we should do? We should reset our file pointer. That's all. Okay. So now I'm applying seek as well here, because I did a complete iteration on the file here, so that the file pointer might be moved to the end of the file. So this is something really important to know, friends. Now run this and see. So this is the probably this is something coming from this one, this initial loop. Means even without applying read, you can directly iterate a file through by using file pointer, which gives you data. And finally, what is that? And iterate it. That's all, friends. This is one more scenario. So we covered almost 5 scenarios in this small piece of code. In the first scenario, a direct iteration of data without applying any or without issuing any read operations. Directly, this is one more way of reading a file. Got it right? And this is the output we are getting from that. Okay. So that is the idea. So suppose if you want to manage the spaces, even we can, I think we can also control the spaces by issuing some this thing here in the open itself. While opening file itself, we can change some parameters, so that we don't get this much of space. Maybe I don't exactly remember, but what we can do is we can ask our GPT once. Let me just check that. If you want to remove that space, or if you think you can check it, you can try it, friends. Even we can remove that space as well. So I'm just checking in GPT how to remove space after each line in file output in Python. Prompting is also something really important. Just remember, friends, because these days, yeah, you can see here this guy is giving something else. Okay, fine. Not with read lines. This anyhow, he is talking about read lines. I was just seeing. Okay, let's apply R strip and see then. So we'll do one thing. He is giving R strip. You know, right strip, right, friends. Right strip helps us to remove spaces towards right. So if that is the case, let's give a try. Data R strip. Sorry. Okay, let's try this method. If this removes spaces, let's run this. Yeah, this is perfectly working. See, this is removing spaces between each thing. You can try same for remaining as well, friends. Okay, so here also what you can do while iterating, just line dot, what is that you can, for the last one, R strip. Yeah, just apply this, friends. If you want to remove space after each, you can see here. Perfect. Got it right? So this is the idea, friends. We had discussed this methods in string, okay? So if you want to remove spaces after each line, we are seeing so much of gap after every line. And so if you want to remove that, right, reduce that gap after each line, then the easiest thing is just apply R strip on each operation, then automatically it reduces that. So we are finally getting that, even that thing. If that is not really important, but if you think it is needed, you can try that, friends. So now let's do one thing. So you can code snippet, right click on this. Yeah, I shared all these methods with you, friends. Please take it. Next after that is, so we have to go with next one. We have completed this as well. Next scenario. So this one is doing write operations. Okay, let's go to the, now we did completed all read operations. Let's talk about write operations. You know, right? We have three types of writes. What are those three types of writes? One is write line, and the second one is what, friends? Third one is print operation. We have three different types. So we can quickly try that now. So let's go with those three things. Okay. So what is that here? Right and right lines. And finally, one more is, so these were examples which were solved sometime back in Hacker Rank. So not a problem. So here right lines and print method. Let's do that now. Let's quickly work on them. Let's finish it today. So next take another file. We performed all read operations so far. Next new Python file, write test, enter. Okay, so here what I can do is, so to do write test, we have three different methods. One is performing write needs write method. Second one we use write lines. The third one is we can also apply print method here. There are three different ways to apply write. Okay, just see. Let's quickly see the difference between one by one. Okay, let's do one thing now. Open a file. Just saying f1 equal to open offer. Just give something like xyz.txt. Okay, and then comma, open the file in write mode. Okay, colon, and then now what do you do? So once we open file in write mode, next operation, and also give the full path here. I'll do one thing. Copy this thing, or e colon bi data tech. This is important. Where we want to place file is important. So e colon bi data tech. So this is not needed for regular open. You don't need colon. That is not needed, friends. So now what after this? What is that we should do? Just simply you can say f1 dot write off You can say this is test. Okay, one. Again, if you want to do one more, right? Issue F1 dot write out this is test 2 and test 3. And finally, what is that you have to do? F1 dot close the file. And generally put this kind of file operations under try catch. This not only file, any code has to go into try and except like, okay? Try except, you can simply say exception and see, because so simple. See here, just put all that code in the try block. At the end, put that except and then just print that E here, friends. That's all. Now what you do, right click, run this. Okay. So write operation is successful. Maybe you might be thinking we didn't get anything. If you want, you can do one thing. Just simply print write successful just for our this thing. If you do one more write, same file is opened in the read operation. Sorry, same file is open for write operation. Whatever data is already there in the file that will be removed or deleted, and file is opened as a fresh file. So means what? Now you run this now. Let me just show you. Write is successful. Now in the folder E drive, we have in under BI data tech, we have this xyz dot file. You can see, of course, put new line in write method so that you get line by line. Now we have data in this, right? If you open file again, suppose if you see you run this program again this whatever the file we have here, this is opened in write mode so that this file, it is something like this. It removes all this data and open this as a fresh file so that again a new data is replacing the old one. It overwrites the old one. So that is what happens with write mode. Write always opens a file as a fresh file. So what it does, two things. One, if file doesn't exist, this open creates file and then adds new data to the file. So whatever that is there already in the file, that will be lost if you are opening file in the write mode again. Suppose you ask me, Manoram, we want that data as well as we want new data. If you want to preserve old data and if you want to add something new, then what is that you should do? You should not go for write, you should go for append. Got it right? If you want to preserve, we'll just quickly check on that as well. Now here, if you want line by line, your output in the file line by line, what you can do, you can just apply new line on each of this here, even here, okay, even here or anywhere. Now after that, if I run this, see, now you can see this. Even we have properly formatted output after adding new line to the write statement. That is fine. Next after that, suppose I want to preserve my result. So second time, for the first time, you can apply write operation on any file so that whatever data you are writing that goes into the file. But if you are issuing write operation second time, make sure you change that to append mode. Even append, if you start using append from the beginning, we don't have a problem. But for second time, if you don't change it to append, whatever that is data we have in the file, that is lost. And again, a fresh data is loaded into that file. You got it, right? Yeah. What? Somebody has a question, Pinky? Okay. So right click. Now run this. Now you go to the file. Just see here. You can also issue. You can see this time we have this output even after doing second write to the file. Okay. Close this now. So similarly, if you again issue one more write operation, what happens? One more time the file is written to the data is written to the file. Suppose if you do here, let me just show you. If you apply write, I write a data to a file, write this, open this. So you have some data. Again, you do one thing. You close this now again. So write again, write the file again. So this time I did two write operations. So in the file, I should see two times data should be written to the file. But you can see here only one copy of that data in the file. Why? Because every time if you issue write operation, file is opened as a new file. Got it right, friends? So if you want to change that, you have to use append mode here. That is important. Just remember, we have already tested that. So if you think that is needed, use append. If you want to append data to a file, means if you want to add data to a file again and again in the subsequent operations, use this append mode, not the W mode. So that's about write. Next after that again, write lines. So how to apply right line? Simply you can copy this. So one thing you should do is if you want to perform right lines F1 dot. So first create a list here. Some L1 equal to, so something like you can add some lines of data to the list itself. So something, this is demo. Okay. Again, you can say demo one. Okay. So here again, this is demo 2. I just took two values. This is enough. Now finally, I want to write apply F1 dot write lines of this L1 you can see here. So now when you issue this one, okay, let's just add this as well here. Now run this now. So here if you see, if you are passing data to the right lines means you can add multiple lines to your file. Only thing is you should prepare the data in the form of a list before passing data to this right lines. With right method, we can pass a line of string to the right method or just a string to the right. But if it is right lines, just use a list, prepare data inside in a list and then just pass that list to the right lines. Then that whole data is passed as a this thing to the file. Now also do one thing. I think you need to add that new line. We'll test that if new line is really needed. Then we append new line at each of these strings. Okay. Now run this now. Write successful. You can see here. So go to the output and just open this. Yeah, you can see that the data is whatever that is there in the list that is added to the file. But only thing is what is that we should do? We should just add new line at the end of each data string. Okay. Now right click, run this, and then this is fine perfectly. And the output is properly formatted. You can see here. So this is about write and write lines. And one more is what, friends? Print method. Even print is doing same thing. Right? So what print does is to the print, we have to assign the file pointer. You can see here, right? I'll just show you here. Suppose I want to write some data to the file. Okay. The hello. Okay. I'm just writing, how are you? Okay. So this is one. How are you? One, comma. What is that I should say is if I use the regular print which we are using every day, that can also be used write data to a file. So this print performs two things. One, it prints data to a console, whatever we are seeing here. You can see this or these prints. Another thing is if you want to write some data to the file, you can still use our regular print. Just use a file parameter and just assign this to this what? Your file pointer. This F1. This is the file variable, right? That you assign to the file parameter in the print method. Now again, this whatever data I'm trying to print, this is printed to a file this time. Which file? This F1 file, which is nothing but xyz.txt. Okay. So what do you do right now? Just simply add one more write successful statement and right click, run this. Now you go and check the file because we are issuing right. You can see here, hello, how are you? As we are issuing write operation, so every time file is opened as a new file. Just to keep that in mind, friends. But our point is, are we able to write that data from print to a file or not? Yes, you can see hello, how are you is present in the file. So this is all about what doing different or issuing different write operations. Okay, one with write, another with write lines, another with print, all that you can see here. This is something. Okay, which we can do with print as well. So this, we have covered all different writes to your file. So I'm just sharing code base with you. Okay, so now after that, let me just, where is this? Code snippet. Let me put this in this one. Maybe you can test this, friends. Okay, got it right. Next, after that, once we did, so now we know how to read, how to write, all that, friends. Next, after is writing to your file is over, reading to your file is over. With statement. So we have covered different operations of files, opening file, reading file, writing file, closing file, all that, and applying, handling any issues with files with exception handling, all that. Now we with statement. This is something we use, even this is something we keep using in development. So what is this with statement? If you use with statement, automatically your file is closed. Suppose in this program, we are explicitly closing file. But with statement, if you are applying with statement, you don't need to close file. And this auto closing is automatically available with open. Okay. So when should we apply with statement? It is used when we have two related operations which we would like to execute as a pair with a block of code in between. Okay. But simply space saying same whatever we do with regular file methods, we can also do with statement or with open. The difference is we don't need to close it. So that is what happens. You can see the above statement automatically close the file after the nested block of code. Okay. And what is the advantage of this? With the advantage with statement is that it is guaranteed to close the file. That's what the difference is. Okay. If an exception occurs before the end of block, it will close file before the exception is caught. So one more advantage is this. So we can efficiently manage this file closing with open or with statement. But that doesn't happen the case with this one, the regular open and regular close. Okay, so that is the difference, friends. So now what do you do? You can try same with this one with open as well. How do you just open file? How do you do some write or something and close it? Just do one thing. You can create one more file for with open. Right click. So you can just say so with underscore open test. And this is something which we use more in with OpenOff. You can just say something like uh, demo.txt, and of course specify that path that is important. And for any kind of read, path is important. Okay, see, copy path till BI data tech. Then you can just take this here, demo.txt, comma, what is that you should do? Comma. If you want, you can choose what is it, write mode if you are doing write. And you should pass alias here. When you are creating with open, we have to provide file pointer as an alias saying something like F or whatever name best suits for that. You pass that meaningful name as a file pointer. Slight change is in regular read, we just say file pointer equal to some open. But with open, we should say, we generally say with open that file as some file name, some F1 or some meaningful name to the file, or student file or customer file or some okay bank file or anything, friends. So finally, what is that? Now you just write code in this. In here, we need indentation. Put a colon. This is important. And under that, we need an indentation. If you are using with open, we need an indented kind of writing data to a file. So F1 dot, what is that? Some write off, you can say something like hello world. Anything should be fine, friends. It's not like it should be hello world. It's up to you. And then just add a new line to that. And then finally, that's all. You don't need to close this time. See, we can avoid that closing. Now just run the file program. Writing is done. Just go to the, you can see here demo and you can see hello world is successfully returned to the file. And this is all about what is that, friends? So this is about with folder. Got it right? So this is something which we keep using in development. So more than regular file open, we apply this with open. Anything should be fine. Just an FYI for you, friends. Okay. Next after that is so this is clear, right? What is with open? How to create a file with open? Maybe if you want, you can just add write successful at the end. We don't need to close here. That is not needed with open. So that's the idea about that one. So next after that is this writing a file that does not exist. Okay, that is fine, no problem. So you can see here, this is something like file name. Okay, we'll do one thing. Let's test this directly. Okay, let's test this code. This will create an error that the file name does not exist. Let's try this now. So another scenario. Okay, so maybe I'll do one thing because when we copy directly from Notepad, I mean from PPT, one issue is we can close this now, not a problem. So here, otherwise, yeah, at the end of this, just copy that code in the, where should we copy? In a notepad, so that any that special characters are there in the PPT are removed if you just paste it in notepad. Now copy this and go to the code, put it in the code. Uh, Hello, this is a sample. Okay, this is all fine. Maybe I'll do one thing. Put this in, yeah, this is now removed. Not a problem. So let's run this now because, of course, this doesn't work. That's what the, uh, I mean, the PPT is saying here. The file, this will create error that the file name does not exist. So what do you do? Right click, run this and see what happens. I think file got created. It got created here. So this is writing. Hmm. Okay, let's try this example then. If this is creating, then maybe this we are issuing proper write and proper this thing. Let's apply this one. Just showing you that we might run into some error. That's all. So you can close this now. File name, this thing. One more this thing. Right click and run this. Okay. Okay. Run this now. Yeah, this is perfect. Uh, we'll do one thing. Maybe this should not be because this is related to EOL while scanning string literal. So we'll do one thing. Maybe we should change this to double quotes. Now let's apply, let's issue execution. So still it is working. So you do one thing, just change file name here and then some F1 and then change this to F1. So this is also working. So let's me just see. So somehow this were working here. So just this were put just to test it. Okay, not a problem. This scenario I'll just check and come up. If we don't have a file, generally always we should do one thing. If before we write something, if that file exists or not. Okay, that is something we generally do. That test, file check test. But here WT is working, XT is working. Probably fine, no issues. Next after that is so that this scenario, if some file name doesn't there, and if you want to write something which a file doesn't exist, that we will see that, friends, not an issue. Next one, renaming file. Renaming simple here. Just we have that method os.rename. If you want to rename it, simply change that your current file name and new name. That's all, friends. So suppose you do here, just take this, come here. If you want to rename any file, see, pass the full path. That is important here. This we can directly do it, friends. So os dot this import you can do anywhere, not a big deal. All right. Something, yeah. Copy this. If you want, you can put it in the beginning of file. Put it here. Now os dot rename. Provide full path. Okay, demo.txt. I don't want it to be demo.txt. I want this to be something else, something like so this is the file. Just put it in quotes. Rename this demo.txt. So here I want to rename this as, copy this again. Just for testing only, right? Just change this to demo2.txt. Okay. And then you can just yeah, that's all. We can check in the that thing. Maybe we have to close one, remove one port here. That is enough. Just print. You can simply say rename successful. Okay. Now right click, run this. Just check that demo got changed to demo2, friends. Okay. Indentation. Okay, let me just see if we have, yes, you can see here we have indentation issue. Right click with open. Yeah, now we have this. See, file exists error. See, why this is where we have this issue. So this is where finally this scenario is coming back. Okay, this is working as expected. So what is the idea here? File exists error. So you are trying to, when you are applying XT, right? So the issue with this XT is already file is created. We should issue this only for one time. Second time, if you issue that, it says that file exists error. Why? Because it checks if already file is there or not. If file is there, then it throws error. In this kind of scenarios, before you create file, you should see if that exists or not. Then you should ask to create a new file. This is just I want to show to you, friends. We'll cover that as well. Okay, for now, I'll just comment this. I'll also show you in the next operation how to check if a file exists or not simply. Okay, then if that file is already there, then in such case, go for just skip that creating file, else create file. Okay, if file exists, don't create file. If file don't exist, then create file. That is what the actual thing of with the XT. Okay, our goal is just checking on renaming now. Finally, this scenario we will again reframe it. Right click, run this now. You can see here rename successfully. Go to the file here demo2. You can see it got renamed. Right, demo got changed to demo2. So this is fine, friends. Next after that is rename our remove. Just you can apply this if you want to remove some file. We have so many files. Simply just apply. If this is how removing a file, you can just copy this Same thing here. Whatever we try to rename, copy that, pass it to the remove method. It just removes that method, friends. That's all. And after that, maybe you can just add a print here saying that what is it here? Remove successful. Okay. So right click, run this. Uh, so what is this? File exists error for which one? Okay, fine, not a problem. So this is already renamed, right? Again, renaming for second time, probably that is throwing error. No problem. Run this now. See, remove successful. Okay. So now you go and see in the this one BI data tech folder. Yeah, you can see we don't see demo 2 now. We have demo because maybe you can ask a question, how come demo exists here? Because we are doing writes here, right? So that's why again we are doing write operation. Right. So suppose you do one thing, comment all this. Don't do write again. Now remove that demo. Okay. That should give some idea for us. So just remove demo.txt. Right click, run this, remove successful. Now you can see that demo, no more demo is present this. So remove is perfectly working, friends. So this is the idea about removing something from a folder, removing a file. Okay. Next after that, these are some programs you can test it yourself, friends. Next, binary file reading and writing. So binary file reading and writing. So simple, friends. We have this binary modes. We can quickly work on them. So what is that binary modes? RB means read binary. WB means write binary. AB means append binary. We have three different modes. And if you apply plus, we are doing two operations. Suppose AB plus appending and reading. WB plus writing and reading. RB plus reading and writing, something like that, friends. We got it right. Now after that, let's do the quick read operation. If you want to need a binary file, you just need some image or something, friends. So what we do is we do one thing. We first write a binary, then we read that binary. Okay. So this is reading, write binary. Let's try this. Okay, this is actually see operation is simple. And for anything, we just open a file and just uh, provide the mode and then just apply a write method. You can see here. For writing, what is that you should do? You should just apply that same thing, same similar thing. Okay, we are just trying to write a binary string to a file by appending this B. If you say B means we are writing this as a binary data. So what we do, we are trying creating a bin file, dot bin file as a binary file and writing something as a binary data and try just we have this binary data that is written to a file and closing file. Let's test this once. Okay, copy this. So because we are familiar with multiple things, so we don't need to again start from scratch now because by now you should have that a clear picture about that this thing. So next one with open thing. Just a minute, friends. Before I do this, let me share this code base with you. You can open that comments and test it. I'll just show you there. Now, let me share the code with you. Okay, this is fine. I just put few comments in this code. You can remove those comments and test it and do accordingly. That file exists check, we'll see it tomorrow because we have few more things, very beautiful topics just remaining. What is that? That pickling is something really very important for interviews as well. Right. So we will see there, like before we do that, we just see how to quick. This is very simple thing. It's not really some. Now what do you do? Right click, run new Python file. Just say binary test. Okay, put that code here, not this one. We can remove this. Whatever we have from the notepad. This is binary file writing. Just copy this. Okay. This code is simple, friends. So I am not again typing line by line. Only thing you should remember this: when you append something with B, it is the data inside this is written as a binary file, and we are creating this inside. Of course, not there. So where do I want to create this binary file? Copy this path, PI data tech path. Okay, come here and then just paste it here. That should be perfect. Now run this. This file is created as a binary file. Okay, this is a file pointer. Don't think by seeing something binary file, it is we are not directly doing anything. This is just binary file name is a file pointer. See here. Okay, right click, run this now. Now file is written successfully. You can go and check here. So you can see this is a bin file. If you want, you can open and see. Okay, right click. We'll do one thing. You'll have all that data in the form of it's taking too much of time. Okay, let it be. We'll do directly. You do one thing, apply more apps. Maybe you try to open with Notepad itself, open. So we have something here as binary. Okay, this is a bin file. We don't need to worry about it, about this output thing. So I want to read a bin file. How do I want to read? Read back. Now apply reading a binary file. So to do a read of binary file, just copy this again. Okay. Same thing, friends. So just copy this or otherwise, okay, no problem. We can try this now. So with open, just change this file name. Okay, copy this path, whole path, change file name here. Okay, and then mode as RB. Okay, read binary and then read all that. You know, right? By now you are familiar with all these methods, right, friends? Just apply read lines as usual and print it. That's all. Now right click, run this. You can see here we got the output as you are on consumer something. This is simple idea about how to work with binary files. So write operation on binary, read operation on binary. And you can also use some this image files as well, like JPG files, PNG files. You can use it even because they are binary files, right? You can also play around with them if you think you wish to do that. But this is a simple understanding how to work with binary files, how to write and how to read all that. Okay, so that is the idea about this one, friends. Next, write binary is over. Okay, next, pickling. This is something really interesting topic. One of my favorite in this file handling. So this we'll see tomorrow. This is something more of doing serialization and deserialization. And this is really important for interviews, friends. Just and not only interviews, maybe in development as well. So this will cover tomorrow because this is something we need at least more time on that. Okay. So this is for today, friends. Okay. We'll stop recording. Any questions?